Quality of life is more important than life itself, and your perspective is going to determine what type of life you live. We are back with another episode of the Julius Files. I am your host, Jason Julius, and today we are doing a Q&JP, and the JP stands for the Julius Perspective because I am all about personal accountability. I'm not going to give you answers, but I will give you my perspective, and you can glean your own answers from it. We are also doing this on a TikTok live. So the QB and the questions, I got a couple of people monitoring. So if we get some good questions that happen to come off of the live, well, then I'm sure one of you can throw them into this. But before I actually get started on the questions, I felt the need to come with I guess my little opening. And when we did our last podcast, I was having a bad day, and in the midst of the world that wants to see authenticity, I was like, okay, well then I'm having a bad day, and that shouldn't stop us from actually doing a podcast. So I promptly got on and announced that I was having a bad day, and wherever the podcast went. Today, I'm smiling a little bit more because I went home and I centered myself a little bit, and I found perspective. And I think that's what I've always been good with doing, is to find some perspective. I mean, when I lost my son, I think that the only thing that kept me from rotting away and potentially just making bad life decisions, I found some perspective, and it wasn't hard to go, you know what, there are children out there that lose their whole families in the flash of an eye. So it was a perspective for me to latch onto, to say, okay, I lost a son. I still have his twin brother and his mother and his sister, and this is no excuse not to quit working and fail. And through that perspective, I was able to keep working. And I guess what I'm saying is that, I mean, everything in life is about perspective, that good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people. The world is not fair. We still have to get up and live in it. So the perspective that you live in every day is going to determine your happiness level and your quality of life. And I mean, I find very stark contrasts in life to find easy perspective. I'm thinking 100 years ago, you didn't have running water. You didn't have plumbing. You certainly didn't have air conditioning. So when I look at the perspective, I'm like, okay, well, in all of that is going on in this world today, we have a lot of luxuries and we have a lot of things in life that other people have not been afforded in previous generations of life. So I consider myself pretty happy, pretty blessed that I was born in America. This has been a challenging world, but all things being equal, technology has really moved us forward, where I feel pretty fortunate to have existed in a time where I started with go out and play and watched all of this technology come in. I mean, it was a cool thing, but the bigger point is that everything in life is about perspective. And if you're going to take a shitty perspective, well, then you're probably going to live a shitty life. And if you sit there and actually try and find a good perspective in life, well, then, everything can be better. Some people don't like rain. Okay, so it can be cold out, but when you just feel the sun on your face, it can give you a better perspective. I mean, everything in life is based on perspective and situations. And I'm like, I don't see necessarily problems. I see opportunities for solutions and thinking outside of the box and doing things and accomplishing things people say can't be done, rather than being like, oh, this is a problem. I don't view life through that lens. So in short, I'm like, you know what? The quality of life is more important than life itself, and your perspective is going to determine what type of life you live, no matter, because nobody can choose their start in life. And generally, I really don't think people can really choose their end in life. So it's about what's in the middle, and the kind of perspective you carry is going to determine what kind of life you live. Whether you are like me and pursuing an entrepreneurial journey, or being an employee of somebody like me, or going to college and trying to pursue working for big business, or as I said, like, ain't nothing wrong with college. I mean, if I'm going to have my brain operated on, I want to know somebody's had a significant amount of college. But at the end of the day, part of that perspective is continual learning. I mean, some people have this fallacy that, like, once you get past high school or once you get past college, that learning is in the past. And I mean, and that's where I think differently. Learning is a lifelong endeavor, and you don't have to go through college just to learn. You can teach yourself and put yourself through the educational process every day for the rest of your life, and there is always something new to learn. And the more open-minded you are, the more you are open to fresh perspectives. And again, that perspective is that's the nugget of what kind of life you're going to live. So, okay, I have my co-hosts here, and this being a Q&JP, we're going to go around the table because they all have their own question for me, and we'll see what comes out of it. And again, I'll give my perspective as honest as I can give it. So. Which one of you ladies would like to start first? And then we go back to Tori's doing this. So, I mean, I think you're stuck, Rebecca. This is you are the first lady. You are the first question of the day. What question would you have for me?
Well, what do you look for when building a team?
Oh, man. What do I look for in building a team? Well, you know what? Because I'm open-minded, and I'm going to say this because, I said this before in one of our meetings that the movies that resonate with me, the Bad News Bears, the Replacements, I like the underdog story, and I like the idea of finding dysfunctional people or a dysfunctional group of people and working with them and through their individual personality traits and figuring out how they all come together and giving them all a common cause to actually move forward. So when I think about what I'm looking for, I'm like, I'm willing to take anybody from all walks of life, from all different backgrounds and generations, and see if I can get them all to work together. There are things that I purposely do look for that are like eliminators. I don't want closed-mindedness because I look for people that are going to have the perspective of learning and actually growing to bring more information to the table for the entire group to work off of it. So I look for that diversity of thought, that independence, the independent thinking. I know I don't want to surround myself with yes people. But on the other end of it, then we go to another conversation that I had where what I don't want is somebody that their passion comes across as being very adversarial. Like that does not work. And as I stated to this gentleman, like the words demand and non-negotiables, well, I'm still a guy and I'm fair amount of confidence. I'm pretty headstrong. So I view those things as ultimatums. And I'm the first person to tell you that you're going to get what you're asking for, but it might not be what you actually want. There's no secret about the business that I've built. It is a heavily female organization, which means emotions and feelings do have to play into it, and you do have to be conscious of the group that you're working around. So I'm looking for people that are, I guess, willing to step up to that challenge and see the beauty of that and of all of the personalities that come together, while realizing that those emotions can complicate things, and if they complicate things, that's I mean, you take the good with the bad. I mean, if I build an organization full of a bunch of guys, well, then it would be a bunch of testosterone and a bunch of egos. And then we would get into headstrong issues where I would be sitting there going, no, I'm a pretty headstrong individual.
Before you know it, Jason's punching somebody in the face.
That's not fair because he's never witnessed it. I think metaphorically he's witnessed that, but I mean that's not the case. But I mean,
only laid the verbal smackdown.
That's how you get rid of someone that you misjudge and bring into the group that doesn't work out.
No. I still go to the thing is because I push you to. I hate to say to reach your potential because that means you're limiting, and I don't like part of your perspective in life is understanding that you are capable of limiting yourself. So I try to speak in limitless terms, but I push people to reach their potential because I've hired people that I see great potential in them, and either they personally actively want to live up to that potential or show that they are chasing their potential, or I push them out because they decide that they don't have any interest in living up to their potential. And I think people in general have the ability to truly accomplish great things. I mean, it's just a question of, are you a lazy shit and you don't want or have any desire of finding out just how much potential you have? Or are you somebody that realizes that everybody is capable of accomplishing great things, even if you've made a bunch of mistakes in life? I mean, there's always a moment where you can stop making bad life decisions and start moving forward. And mine, coming from a union rep background, is that I always want to give people second chances. I always want to believe in people. I always wonder, is there that one more thing that I can say that is going to be that aha moment for them that's going to say, hey, like, I can chase my potential, and if I show that I'm chasing my potential, I can actually contribute to this group and be rewarded for my potential with a better life. And I mean, so I guess the thing is that I look for things that I know that are I guess my non-negotiables. I don't want any negativity around me. I have gotten to a point where I am putting up boundaries to say, if you're going to bring your negative vibe around me, I don't want you around me. But I honestly, I see the best in everybody, or I attempt to, where I'm like, put people in a position of displaying their capabilities to show just how much they can contribute to a whole. But then I get into that situation where when you say what you're looking for and then hiring people, what I'm looking for out of people is the people that understand the concept that if you make decisions in what is to the benefit of the group, your personal preferences will be met. Like, if you come into a group and your decision-making process is all about what is in your personal best interest and not what is in the group's best interest, then the likelihood is the group is not going to accomplish anything significant. Thereby, you're not going to accomplish anything significant. So your personal wants are not going to be met because you're being selfish and literally making decisions that are in your personal best interest. So it is that dichotomy in your brain of getting over your brain and saying, you know what, if I literally put aside what my personal preferences are and work and in this group so that we come across what is in the group's best decision, we are all individually going to benefit. And that is really hard for people to grasp, but I'm willing to hire people and bring them in to see if they get it. And if they don't get it, well, then we've got to push to see if they're going to get it, knowing we're going to keep pushing and we're going to push them out if they don't get it, because the only way that you scale a business is by people. And the only way that you can get people to work together with all of the facets of all of their personalities is to get them to understand the principle that we all have our individual wants and needs met by coming together as a group and making decisions that are in the best interest of the group. And a lot of it is trial and error. because you hire 10 to find one or two good ones. And it sucks that it's a filter process like that, but it is a filter process like that. And then you get into the other side of it where I'm looking for people that like they have a certain joy in working. Like I don't want lazy people. I want people that know that it would be detrimental to their health to sit around and do nothing. I want people that understand that working is working through your problems, and working builds character, and people that understand baseline, I've got to have some semblance of work in my life in order for me to feel complete. And then it's just about the group coming together and contributing to the whole. So is that a decent answer for your question?
I'll accept that.
Okay, sure. Okay, I got an acceptable out of Rebecca, so that's okay. So Tori got out of that, so now we're gonna go to Matt. We got a boy, girl. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, we're putting Mr. Bradshaw on the on the spot. Do you? I know he was looking for a direction to see if somebody'd given the question.
I was really hoping somebody on TikTok was going to help me out here,
but yeah, no, apparently
they're not.
But this is a new thing. So yeah, too soon.
Well, my original question was going to be what happened to you from yesterday till today, because the last few days you've been grumpy, Jason. And then today you actually have a smile on your face.
And I got a good answer for this. I really do. I got it because the thing is I mean, I want to say that this is entrepreneurship, but it's not entrepreneurship per se. I think that a part of it is perspective, and a part of it is for how to develop healthy habits. Like one day generally does not affect my next day. I can have a bad day, and it can be followed by another bad day, and potentially followed by another bad day. But it never starts that way. I have daily habits and rituals to put me in a good start of every single day. Every day, I wake up, and I'm using the bathroom while my coffee is brewing. Once my coffee is done, I have wiped the sleep from my eyes, and I have a book waiting. Every single day, I read a book while I am drinking my 3 cups of coffee, and I'm starting my day in a positive manner of feeding my brain knowledge and information to help me live a better life. And I have read books from self-help and mindset and motivation to marketing and the internet and entrepreneurship. And I mean, I have read hundreds and hundreds of books, but I have been successful in the last couple of years of literally installing a great habit where I wake up every day looking forward, if nothing else, to the first couple hours of the day, because I look forward to my first cup of coffee, and then I look forward to my second cup of coffee. And then by the time I'm getting to my third cup of coffee, I'm like, okay, this is time to start winding down before I have to go out into the world and find out what kind of day I'm going to have. Because, I mean, when you're employing this many people, you can be affected by many different things.
There's no mid-morning nap in there?
No, I'm going to be honest. Those naps that you're talking about, while very infrequent, I will take them when I have felt an extreme amount of pressure and I feel the need to have a reset in the middle of the day to still try and be productive on the second half of the day. And if it's been a bad morning, not let myself trash the entire day, because I'm literally trying to still, again, be productive, because I'm not going to deny it. Like, work defines me. I know that I need to work in order to feel, I guess I don't subscribe to normal, but feel some semblance of normal. I need to work. I will get anxiety that I don't like if I don't feel like I have something to work on every day. So yeah, I mean,
well, we got stuff to keep you busy.
No, that's what I know, and I've said that's the whole thing, is that I have a full plate, and I would rather have that's where I feel blessed, rather have a full plate where I'm worried about stopping things from falling off the edges than to be sweating not having a full plate. So I would have a whole lot more anxiety if I didn't have enough on my plate, when you consider how many people we have in the organization at this point. Like, it's important that there is always work. And obviously we are dealing with a backlog of work. That's a good thing. That lets me know we have plenty of work to last. And as we lay more foundation, as we develop more processes, it leads to more work. And that's what success looks like in business in general. But again, I do go back to I like try and reset every day. I try and go to bed in a generally positive mindset. And that's easy because if you've had a shitty day, you're like, okay, I'm going to sleep. I'm able to block it all out, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow looking forward to my morning coffee and reading my book and being curious about what information I'm going to learn out of the in particular book that I happen to be reading. And to me, that's perspective, and that's a healthy mindset. It's the new day is another day to take on the world and try and make progress and creatively find solutions. And I thrive on that stuff, but I'm not going to deny I thrive on it because in the early days, I thrived on it because I was intent on proving everybody wrong. So that was the fuel in my tank. All I wanted to do was get up every day and bring it because I wanted to prove people wrong. I've proven people wrong enough through the course of my life that now it's just like I'm dreaming big and I just want to prove myself right. And as one of my mentors, which I now just, it's like he brought it up. So I want to like the ferocious Buddha, and the ferocious Buddha says, happiness is the pursuit. And quality of life is more important than life itself. So I want to be happy in my pursuit of what I'm trying to accomplish and what I'm trying to build. And some days that's more stressful than others, but you know what? Some type of progress is made every day. And I'm going to be honest, like I remember being a union rep and I was all happy to win the position. And I remember Roger looking at me and being like, dude, one of these days you're going to walk out of here crying. And I'm like, I did not understand until the day that I literally walked out of there crying. I mean, literally, I represented 500 people. And when you go through an entire 8, 10, 12-hour day and you are literally able to make nobody happy and you've come in contact with 100 people that day, like it'll break you down. But I mean, everything's applicable to the next. Surviving and living through that and still having a semblance of success in that position, it strengthened my nerves. It gave me thicker skin and it gave me perspective that, you know what? Ain't none of it that damn bad. I mean, I either have heat when I need heat or AC when I need AC. And when I take a dump, our plumbing washes it away and I don't have to live around it. And I'm able to drink clean frickin' water. And
faucet might pour the water out a little slow when you're washing your hands. But yeah.
You know what I'm saying, though. That's the perspective that, you know what? I mean, pretty blessed to be in America and live in the times that we live in. And then I do go back to you know what? I'm grateful for all of you. I mean, that life is about connectivity and that human relationship is more important than anything else. If you're looking for happiness in life, you might find happiness in solitude as far as I am an introvert, like recharging your batteries. But sooner or later, even for an introvert, once your batteries are full, well, then that solitude will start to eat at you. I mean, life is still about connecting with, even if it's another person or a small group of people, life is still about connectivity. Solitude will drive you freaking nuts. So I recharge my batteries in solitude, but it's short stints. It's not something that I can actually live by. I realize connecting with other human beings is part of what makes us feel whole. So no, I do not let bad days parlay into each other. At least I try my best. I really wake up every day looking for it to be a fresh reset and thankful that I woke up breathing and that I was given another day, and hoping for the best. And yeah, I don't want to say ready for the worst, but yeah.
From TikTok, Nita says, I asked her if she had any questions for you.
Uh-oh.
She says she's just listening and she's enjoying everything you're saying.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Again, it comes down to perspective. And I mean, some of the stuff that I'm seeing in this day and age, I think people should reflect on on just what they're able to benefit from and the perspective of the world that we're able to enjoy at this point. And I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. I can't let go of the 100 years ago. And then you go back thousands of years, like there wasn't plumbing. Like we didn't have anything that washed our feces away from us, so we didn't have to deal with it. I mean, like that just doesn't take much for me to have that kind of perspective that I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm pretty happy about this.
The rainstorm that just came through here would have caused problems 100 years ago.
I just want to say that my sunroof is shut.
Okay. Hey, no, that's
I just want that on the record.
Tori learned a life lesson here a couple weeks ago. Okay. So, moving on, Miss Tori, what is your question? Yeah. You got to get up
You
to
have
the
to
mic.
speak into the microphone.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm new here. My question is not really the same topic that we've been talking about.
These questions can go anyway. That's because
Right.
I know that they can come from any direction.
Yes, and today I'm repping Coffee Junkies.
So am I.
Yeah,
I got my coffee junkies on.
Hey, so am I.
Yeah.
Oh, look
and
at
I
you
mean,
with
the
all your
thing
logo.
we're a couple months from being 17 years old, and I mean that's that's no small feat in small business
I
in
know,
itself.
that's what I'm saying. We're all
Yep.
grown up now, but when you think back to when you were originally picking out different flavors and different menu items, like what was the process that you went through? What were some of the things that would help you make your decisions there?
Ooh, I have a follow-up to that.
No, and I'll take
What's
the
your
follow-up, but I'm
follow-up?
going to be honest. You're going to laugh about this. You know what I did? I turned it over to other people
Why?
because I wasn't a coffee drinker. Like I drink black coffee, I drink regular house coffee, but we got into business for espresso and the lattes and the mochas and the general, like back then when we started this, because I mean, coffee has just exploded for anybody and everybody at this point. But the 25 to 45-year-old female was, and I think still is, but at that point was the ones that's what the lattes and mochas were targeted towards. They were the ones that wanted what I said were the foo-foo coffee drinks.
The bougie ones?
Yes, and I'm not mad at you because I like when I would drink that stuff, I would enjoy it, but that's not my point. My point is that I knew my taste buds were not taste buds to be depending on for when it come to creating all of the drinks. So I set up the base menu and I set up 40 different syrup flavors, and we set up our base, and then every single barista that I hired, I would start off by saying, it's steamed milk and it's espresso. And if you get the espresso right, you're going to get it right. But I encourage you to go crazy mixing all of the different syrup flavors. But when you find something good, go to your medium, let me know what flavors and at what proportions. And if you found something good, we'll come back and we'll taste test it with everybody else. And by and large, that's how the Coffee Junkies menu was developed. I just got into the branding of the actual drinks themselves once the concoctions were actually drawn up.
So if I have a coffee that I'd like to add to the menu and I have a recipe for a 16 ounce and it's already been approved by, everyone that's ever tried it ever.
Are you talking about my drink?
I'm talking about your drink, yeah.
That's not fair. His drinks are, wait a minute, his drink's already on the menu. It's
like,
the ultimate, which was a renaming of a threaten on a copyright
Are we
lawsuit.
allowed to say?
I mean, I think we can on a TikTok or not a TikTok or on a podcast, but no, the thing is, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna be honest. So towards that end of it, we used to have a Snickers mocha. We had a
Milky Way,
it was
Zero.
Milky Way because we were naming our
Reese's,
drinks
Candy
after candy bars, and then Hershey's threatened to sue me for copyright infringement. And
it was Mars.
no, Mars. I knew Mars wouldn't be far behind if I didn't address it right then and there. But at the time, the lawsuit or the warning of shots fired
Was Hershey?
was Hershey's.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around.
No, and the point being, anybody that when it comes to copyrights and trademarks, you have to copyright in a category. Well, food is not separated from beverage. Candy is not separated from food and beverage. So they own the rights to the names of their product. But I was making drinks with flavor combinations that were meant to be elicit the taste of biting into the candy bar. And when big business comes calling and threatening lawsuits, you just back away slowly and apologize and do what you have to do to solve the problem. So the Snickers mocha became the candy bar mocha. The Andes mint latte become the mountain mint latte. I had to go through because I want to say at that time we had somewhere 25 specialty lattes and mochas, and I'm thinking 10 to 12 of them. They were based on candy bars, and we had to get rid of those names and come up with something else that actually worked for us branding wise, to make sure that we were not infringing on anybody else, but in big business specifically. And don't get me wrong, once I got my federal trademark rights to Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies, I'm still in the same place. It's my job to defend my marks. And that's what they were doing. And I'm, like I said, my lawyer was like, how do you want to handle this? And I was like, just how do we handle this diplomatically? We do not need to admit fault. We need to say, we have treaded too close to something that you are red flagging. We will change and go another direction. Please, let's not go any further. And I have no desire to contest this or pursue this, because what most people don't understand is that when you get into legality, it is about deeper pockets, because lawsuits can be drug out indefinitely in court. And it's not about being right or wrong. It's about how much money you've got to feed the lawyers to fight the overall battle of the lawsuit itself. So
to drown your competition or drown whoever you're suing.
No, that is very much the name of the game when it comes to that. Now, I will say, when I created Pizza Junkies, well, then I very much trusted my taste buds. So when I got in there, I started making all of my own pizzas and my concoctions, and then we started branding them. But I mean, I'm a pizza junkie, so I trusted my own taste buds for what I knew would work when it come to the business itself. But up front, it was like I trusted myself to brand. I think I've always been pretty creative on that end of it. But when it come to the concoctions themselves, no, it was very much barista inspired. And that was one way that as the baristas came in, they felt like they were able to contribute, because they were literally able to help build the menu in general.
That ended by the time we got there.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, that's not fair, because like I said, we're at 17 and Indianapolis is 4 years old. So I'm like, no, there was a whole lot of work that was done in the first decade to get to the point of opening in Indianapolis for the proving grounds for the franchise concept. And that's when you guys came in. So yeah, no, I mean, now it's being very careful about not blowing up the menu and watching our menu to make sure that we have our best sellers on the menu. And then, like one of our competitors, there is a secret menu, because there are drinks we have attempted to put on the menu that they're still in the recipe book. You can still order them, but if they weren't popular enough, they either didn't make the menu or they were removed from the menu because they just weren't popular enough.
Yeah, this one's a winner, though.
Oh, this drink?
Crunched cinnamon toast. Cinnamon toast.
Oh, look, no, you can't. That's just say that's
we can't call it that.
No, you can't call it cinnamon toast crunch, because it's
that gives the viewers an idea.
Okay, because I mean, yeah, it is.
It
that's
tastes
just
like you're
that's treading too close.
Like your cereal milk of the golden
coffee.
delicious cinnamon cereal.
You want to say cinnamon one more time?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, we are at 33 minutes, and we're trying to keep these shorter podcasts under, I want to about to say under 30 minutes, but at least not getting into the 45 minutes and the hour like I do with the Entrepreneurial Chronicles, because when you got to let people tell their story about small business, I don't want to limit that to a half hour. So the Entrepreneurial Chronicles, we let them run into the hour, but we like to keep these in a half hour. So we're going to keep this at a half hour. Yeah, we're just going over just a little bit.
A little bit over.
So no, we can start our rollout music, but hopefully,
that's my cue, guys.
Yeah, hopefully you might have gotten some perspective. Maybe you appreciated some of my perspective. So yes, thank you very much for listening. Please rate the show. Please share the show. And until next time, you guys have a good night.